mute ourselves?
Yeah, go ahead and mute. And if you need to talk, you can unmute. Yeah. There. Okay. So we'll welcome everyone. So everyone has watched the one we did last week, the training workshop that we did on list building, and downloaded the exercise. Did anyone have a problem finding the list building exercise on Coach Answers? Okay, it was pretty, you just needed to know what to look for, but really almost everything can be found on Coach Answers, and it's a really good idea to train your coaches when they want something, where to go to find it, instead of always having the answer and giving it to them. So that's why I did that. So Coach Answers, and just search on finding, and you're gonna find that handout. So go through that. I mean, you guys already did. And so just raise your hands, who has at least 20 names on their list from the exercise? Awesome. Who has more than 50? Okay, awesome. Who has names, both client names potential and coach name potentials? And if you didn't separate, that's fine. Okay, great, that's fine, because it was just a brain dump. So this is a good exercise to do anytime you find yourself short of who you want to talk to, or whenever you have a new coach that comes on, and maybe they come on and really we just say, who's your first 5 people? So they approach those 5 people, and then they might sit and say, okay, now what? You know, and then you've got to kind of jog their memory, because sometimes they're kind of stuck. So just take them through that exercise, and it's kind of fun before you just give them that exercise, you just list, like I did last week, just say, well, who do you know who this? Who do you know who this? And do that exercise with them, and then give them the handout and let them do it. So they've got a bunch of people to do that with. So with this is called the approach. So the first thing is having our list, and then we need to do the approach. So there's really 3 main ways that we attract clients or coaches. And if you want to think of yourself as, just don't think of yourself as a coach. Think of yourself as a realtor, or say you own a house cleaning service, or any other kind of business. So you set up your business in your home, and you sit here. How do you expect to get business? You've got to advertise, or you've got to go out and meet people, right? Nobody can just hang out their shingle unless you live in the Old West and you live on the one road, and there's 5 businesses, and you literally just hang out your shingle and say, I'm the only doctor in town, or I'm the only bar or saloon in town. Other than that, you've got to go out and do some kind of, advertising or something. Facebook is our advertising. I think I mentioned that last week. Our post is our advertising. And we don't really know for sure who's seeing it unless someone is liking or commenting. We know they're seeing it. We might have 1,000 friends, but we don't have 1,000 likes and comments. So we don't know for sure who is seeing it. And that's where we're adding friends, and we're commenting and having conversations and building, nurturing relationships, because that's how Facebook decides who sees our post. So that's basically our free advertising. That's amazing that we have free advertising. In other businesses, I've done advertising, and it's not free. And I think it was JCPenney, that's what it's attributed to, says that, I'm going to throw out a number, like 25% of his advertising works. He's just not sure what 25%. So you got to advertise all over the place. But if we're using Facebook for advertising, not paid advertising, but just posting and commenting and conversations, it's free. So we're doing that, but that can't be our only source of advertising. It's like paying for mailers to just go out into people's mailboxes. So that's just one way. Another way is to go out and meet people. And again, think that you're a realtor or a house cleaning service. You've got to go out and meet people and let them know what you do, and let them know you have a service that you can do. Now, I have realtors and house cleaning people sticking tags on my door all the time. Every time I open my front door, 15 business cards fall out. And the only thing I can say about that is I want to let them know, if you leave your business card stuck in my door, there's not a chance in heck that I'm ever going to use you as a business. That annoys the crap out of me. So I'm not going to use you. But that's what a lot of people do, because it's quick and easy and non-confrontation. You don't need to talk with anybody. So they're easy. They're going to buy 10,000 business cards and think they're doing some kind of business promotion by going up and down a neighborhood and sticking business cards in the door, or putting a hanger on my door handle, which irritates me even more. But so you need to be in community, networking programs or groups perhaps, or it could just be anything in your community, whether it's your church, whether it's clubs for things that you enjoy, anything in your community. Shopping at a Christmas store. Lisa was just shopping at some Christmas store in her area. That sounds so amazing to me. Like in up near where Jerry and Mary Kay live, there's Old Town Spring. I'm sure if you spend a day in Old Town Spring shopping, you can meet a million people, because you're in a shop in Old Town Spring. You've got to have something in common with those people there. So you can meet people, carry that conversation, not about health, but just find some kind of commonality and strike up a conversation with somebody, and then identify their need, or just find commonality and then friend them on Facebook and carry that conversation. But the other way is what we're going to talk about today, is where you actually are having your list of people, and you're actually going to call them and do what we call the approach. Now, we're not calling people and doing a health assessment on the phone. We're going to call them and just let them know what we do, and just see if their window of opportunity is open. So again, like a realtor or a house cleaning service, and I'm using those just because I think we all can relate to those, right? So like a realtor might call you and see if you're in the market. So I'm just like nod of your head. So Mary Kay, if a realtor ask you if you were interested in a realty service right now, are you in the market? Are you interested? No. How about you, Melanie? Are you interested? Are you interested in selling or buying a home right now?
No.
Okay, so you're not interested right now. How about you, Lisa? Are you? Okay. What about you, Jerry? Okay. And Kathy, I can't see Kathy's face, so I don't know if she is. I'm not either. But yet, if that realtor said, okay, that's fine, just so that you know what I do. I'm a really good realtor. I get great results. I help people find the homes of their dreams. I invest in their wants and their desires, what's best for their family. So if you know anyone who is, I would love a referral. I would love to help them out. I really, really get great results. So you may have someone to share it with them. My neighbor just put their house on the market because they got transferred. So I may say, talk with Michelle next door. She may have need. But if that realtor then makes a connection with you because you guys have something in common and sends you tips every month, having to do with your home or just having to do with anything lifestyle, and all of a sudden, sometime, you decide maybe you want to move. Maybe it's a year down the road, maybe it's 2 years down the road. She's developed a relationship with you, and all of a sudden she's your go-to person for realty. Your window is now open. So when she asks you, are you interested? Do you have an interest in my services right now? And you said no, that wasn't a fail on her part, was it? She was just gathering information. She found out that you were not interested, but she could have asked for referral, and she continued to develop that relationship. So that whole purpose of her contacting you was is to find out if your window of opportunity is open. So in that way, when we make this approach, I'm going to share with you some of the ways that we do that. It's kind of like being a phlebotomist, if that's the right word, the person that draws your blood, or an ultrasound tech. If you notice, they're very poker faced. Whenever JD has an ultrasound on his blood clot, we are looking at their eyes. We're trying to read their eyes and try to figure out what the results are. They are so poker faced, we can't figure anything out. And we're like, so, do you think the doctor's going to want us back immediately? And they're like, the doctor will get back with you. You'll have an appointment next week. They won't tell us anything because they're not attached to the outcome. They're doing a diagnostic test to figure out what we need. So when we approach someone with these words I'm going to share with you, that's all we're doing. We just want to see if they're open to what we have. So we don't need to be attached to the outcome, and we just want to find out if their window of opportunity or window of interest is open. And if it's not, we just continue with communication tips or whatever, because at some point it may be. So that's the number one thing. And it's just like when we put up a post. We're putting up posts, especially the transformation stories or any kind of health stories, and people say, oh, this is really awesome, tell me more about it. Now, if they're just saying congratulations to Susie, and you can say thank you, that means a lot to Susie. Or you can even private message them and say thank you so much for your support. If they're always liking, that's really cool. But if they're asking about, tell me more about this, then you send it to private message, and you then can say, so are you asking for you or asking for someone you love? And then that's still an approach, and you want to take it to the phone. So that's the same thing. You're not going to explain anything on the private message. Just like when we're doing this approach on the phone, we're only trying to find out if their window of opportunity is open, if they're interested, and then we're going to bring it to the phone, to a health assessment, to another phone. So remember the three ways that the three main ways that we're going to find people to even see if they're interested is through our advertising, basic free advertising on Facebook, meeting people out in the community and through our daily life. And then this way we're talking where we've done a list and we're actually going to call people. So one way is to, when we make this call, is to actually ask for, if it's not someone that you know really well and hasn't already asked about this health program, then it's an easy way to ask for by an indirect approach and ask if they know anyone. And often they'll ask them. I'm going to send you guys a recording that Dan Bell actually did. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I've got screenshots of like some of this verbiage. So I don't even recommend that you take notes of this. I'm going to send you, it's better, I'm going to send you this recording of Dan Bell, and you can take screenshots of what he did. And then what I even recommend then is that you either type up or write out what he said. But the key point is not to necessarily be reading a script to people, but practice this a couple times and kind of go by bullet points. And that's what he says too, because you don't want to sound like you're reading a script. But tell me how much more comfortable this would be if, say, I'm going to call Jerry, okay? Because Jerry was someone, she did approach me at a Cabby hostess preview, but say Jerry was my friend and say we had dieted together before, or she had asked me before what I was doing or commented on my health and said, wow, I should do something like that. So if I called, I want to make sure I've got the right thing here. If here we go. So I'm going to call. So I'm going to call, and this is the sequence of the call, first of all. So you're going to call and identify yourself. And then you're asked if you have a second to talk, because this isn't a scheduled call. This isn't a health assessment. You're just going to call someone. So you always want to just say, do you have a second to talk? And you really are going to keep the whole call very short. And then you're going to exchange a few pleasantries, like, how are you doing? Wasn't that Astros win amazing? How's the family? Just a few, not go on and on, because then they're going to like, oh, what's up? You haven't called in 5 years. Why all of a sudden do you care about my family? And then just say the reason for my call. So when you tell someone that, it's a relief because they know you called for a reason and they're ready for it. And then you're going to ask the question. Tell them the reason, ask the question, and then if they're interested, set an appointment, and then get off the call. So just like on our Facebook 101, and if you've not watched Facebook 101, I encourage you to watch it. And if you haven't in a while, watch it again, and that's going to remind you the purpose of any communication on your Facebook Messenger is to get them on a health assessment, not to be answering a lot of questions. So I'm going to call you Jerry, so if you want to unmute so you can play along with me. We didn't practice this, so Jerry's like, what the heck? Okay. I know Jerry's going to play along with me. So hello, Jerry. This is Donna. Do you have a minute to talk?
I sure do.
Okay, awesome. So how are you doing? How are the grandkids? I understand they're staying with you for a while.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So life has gotten very active, but it's been a blast. What about you?
Awesome.
We haven't talked to you in forever. What's up?
Well, it has been a while. I know. So listen, the reason I'm calling is I am really excited about this program that I've been using to lose weight, learn healthy habits, and to finally get and stay healthy. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, because we've not seen each other in a while, but I know we're on Facebook. But I've dropped 39 pounds, and it was one of the easiest things that I've ever done. So, Jerry, I've got to tell you, I feel terrific. And because of my success, I've decided to pay it forward. And I've shared this with some of my close friends and family, and they're having similar results as well. And I was just wondering if you or anyone you know would you could be interested in hearing more about this program.
Wow, you lost 39 pounds.
I
thought you
did.
looked really good. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about it.
Good. Well, what I would love to do is just set up maybe 30 minutes or so just to explain the program to you and just see if it might be something you're interested in, either as, I'm not going to go there, if it'd be something that you'd be interested in, or if you think someone that you know would be interested in. Do you have some time tomorrow morning?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do.
Super. Okay. How does 10:30 sound?
Sounds perfect.
Awesome. I'll call you then.
Okay, it was good talking with you, Donna.
Thanks, Jerry. Looking forward to it. Bye. Okay. So that kind of wording. Now, if I hadn't talked to her in a long time, I might even say something like, after some of that, just like, hey, sorry, got my notes all mixed up over here. That's why I like doing this with friends, so I can do this and it's okay. Something like when I'm telling her the reason for my call is, I was wondering if you would do me a favor. So this is perfect to call a friend and just ask for a favor. So this might even be the way you want to start out a lot of these. So similar. So Jerry, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. So do you know anyone who's trying to manage their weight or who is looking to learn healthier habits that I could help? So I explained, I've been on this program, I lost this weight. I'm wondering if you can do me a favor. So do you know anyone who's trying to manage their weight or who's looking to learn healthier habits that I could help? So if I don't know that Jerry's talked about losing weight in the past or don't even know what's going on, but I could ask that and she might say, yeah, me, I could, or she might say, yeah. So I'm asking for that. Now, that's what we call the indirect approach. And the direct approach would be where I know that she's talked before. So it's Jerry, you and I have talked before about losing weight and getting healthier. Remember, every time we talk about going on a diet, we talk about it when we go to Schlossky's and have that big sandwich and chips, But I found a way. So I was wondering if you'd be interested in learning more about this program. So just a couple different approaches there to use. But one reason I'm really glad that Jerry's on this is, and I've mentioned this before, we had a program that Jerry and I worked on before. I was the manager of this program and Jerry was our top salesperson. And what we did is our salespeople talked with local businesses. They took out advertisements that went on a display inside our local churches. And that funded our talks on CD so the church could get them for free. Now, Jerry was calling on businesses that she didn't know, but it's very similar to all of this where she's calling now friends or acquaintances or referrals. It might be people that she doesn't know. But Jerry, can you see some of this as being some of the similar terminology to what you did?
Yeah, absolutely. And the main thing that I remember was because I was so passionate about what it is that I wanted to put in those stores, that it didn't bother me that they, whether or not they even had shared the same views that I had. So I just would try to help them to see how it would help them, and it would just, grow from there.
Right.
So I made it, when I spoke with them in a way that they could see how it would benefit them, and if nothing else, and if that failed, then I would just go into, about, what a great community service it would be, So.
Right. And a similar thing where when you made the phone call, you didn't do a presentation on the phone, right? You made a phone call to get an appointment with them, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
So very, very similar with all of that. So one thing, just like we hear about everything else, it's going to be just like when people are approaching you on Facebook and they want to know all kinds of questions, you know, before they get to the health assessment. And it's really quick just to say, easy to say, well, you know, we just have a few minutes here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know I called unexpectedly, but all I know is, now this is especially if you're new. So if you're coaching any of you new coaches, you know, train them to say, or this is for the recording, if any new coaches are watching this, all I know is this is a great program. It's working wonderfully for me. And I'm going to have my coach on with me to make sure I don't say anything wrong, because I'm still learning this. But for all of us, it's like, you know, all I know is this is working great. And I know that we are going to be, that's a great question. And I'll be covering that in detail when we get together. Now, Susan, now Jerry, you mentioned you want to get more information. So let's set up a time to talk. I've got some time on Wednesday or Thursday. Do any of those times work for you? So almost any question they ask, it's going to be, that's a really great question. I'll go into that more in detail. Let's set up a time to talk, because, you know, I've got some information for you, but now's not really the time. So, and Dan does say, if they say, what's the company? Because a lot of people do say that. So he comes right out and says the company is Optavia. It's a health, wellness, and lifestyle company. Our focus is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. Now, Jerry, you mentioned you want to get more information. Let's set up a time to meet or talk. I've got some time on Wednesday or Thursday. Either of those days work for you. Now, one thing that I do recommend, because that leaves up so much time for me, that what I don't ever like doing is just turning down somebody. So if I mention to someone, do you have time Wednesday or Thursday, and they say times that I'm not available, and then I have to turn them down. So I absolutely know my calendar ahead of time, and I offer times to them. So I might say, are mornings or afternoons typically better for you? And then once they know I've got my calendar for the week, you know, printed out. And so if they say mornings, I'll look and I say, okay, so how about Tuesday at 9, or would Friday at 10 work better for you? So I know my calendar. If they say afternoons, then I can look and see when I have an afternoon available. That works out wonderfully for me. I always give 2 times, but I find out best or first if Mondays or afternoons work. Now, if evenings work better for you, go ahead and offer them evenings. I just try not to do evenings, but I would just ask mornings or afternoons, and then give them 2 times once they tell you. So it doesn't work for me just to give them a broad, you know, tomorrow or Thursday. So if they say a time I'm not available, I don't want to say no, I can't do it then, because then I'm turning them down. So we've got several scripts, but again, the offering a lot of, or reading a script is not going to be great, but there are a lot of them that you'll see on this video. And obviously Dan's video flows a lot smoother than what I'm trying to say here. I'm just trying to go through a bunch of stuff it's really just about taking this in a different direction than what we've gotten comfortable doing on Facebook. Facebook is still great. You can still put up a Facebook post that gets a ton of responses. You can get 17 clients out of it. So continue doing Facebook, do it effectively, nurture those relationships, and do your posts, and especially your stories. But there's a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. Oh, Jerry's asking what's the best approach if they ask for a website. That's the danger if they ask for, to say Optavia. They're usually, if someone says, what is it? It's Optavia, you hear this. You know they're looking it up right away. So if they ask for a website, I usually say there really isn't a website, because a website cannot create this coaching and this personal relationship with you that you get when you become a client. I just have an ordering website. But if they press, I'll send them to habitsofhealth.com. I'm so glad we have that, because that's not Optavia. It's habitsofhealth.com. But I just tell them I have a website, but it's just for my ordering clients. It's just an ordering website. it's not our program. Really, we need to talk so that I can explain to you what our program is, because I would love to come up with an analogy. I love analogies. I love parables. I want to come up like this whole, like the blood test and the ultrasound and the realtor and the house cleaning thing. I can't find something that I could explain to someone that's like, other than saying you can't develop a relationship with the website. I can't think of something to say to someone. But yeah, if they're really pressing me, I would say, let's just get together. And then if you become a client, you can have my website. But it's not a secret. I'm not holding it back. It's just that I talked with a client today because my client that referred her already gave her the website, because she always does. And she already was on there and already looked at the price and thought it was pricey. And I talked her through that, and she ended up becoming a client, but it just made my job a little bit more difficult because all she looked at was ordering food. That was what she thought it was all about. So I would just say, I have a website, but it's just for my clients. Or if pressed, have it support. So, but here's another example of an invite. And again, this is all going to be on the recording, but just so you get an idea of what this is like. And notice none of these explain the program. They all move into setting up an appointment to do a health assessment, which you're all probably already versed at and really good at, but we'll do one later on that. So, hey, Jerry, I'm not sure if you've heard what's going on in my life right now. I'm getting so healthy and doing the easiest thing I've ever done to lose weight too. I've already lost 39 pounds and I feel great. I'm so impressed with the program I'm doing that I've decided to pay it forward and coach others so they can get healthier and feel great too. So of course I thought of you because we had talked in the past about, just the need to get healthier at our age, or just being healthy or losing weight. Now when we talk later about how to invite coaches, I absolutely could say, because Jerry, we've talked in the past about being entrepreneurs. We've talked in the past about, having a job or whatever. So would you be open to setting up a time so I can share more about what we coach and see if this would benefit you or someone you love? So always having that either or. When would you have about 30 minutes today or tomorrow? He says 20, but I can't do it in 20. So I say 30. Great. I would really like to have, again, this is for a newer coach. I would love to have my health coach join us on the line because I'm a new coach, and she has been such a great support to me, and I know you'll enjoy meeting them. Plus, it will really help me to learn how to help others. They'll just ask you some questions about your health, share our program, and see if it's a good fit for you. Does that sound good? And then go ahead and set up the meeting. So again, most important is really the sequence of the call, and that we're keeping it short. So you're calling, ask if they have a second to talk, really short pleasantries. The reason for my call is you get that out and ask the question, is this interesting? Would you like to set up an appointment? Or would you be interested in hearing about this? Set up an appointment and get off the call. So no explaining, no talk. And here's like my rule of thumb. If you're talking about anything that you would ask on a health assessment, you've gone too far. So if they come to the health assessment already knowing how much it costs, or already knowing the 4 components, or already knowing you eat 6 times a day, or already knowing that there's fuelings, you've already been talking about that and already slipped into the health assessment. So if you say it's a great nutritional program, we're learning healthy habits, if you say habits 1,800 times, that's fine, because that's super, super important. But what you really want to do is, just get them healthy. So then, once the person says, "Wow, that sounds like something I'd be interested in. How do I find out more?" Then I always say, "Okay, let's set up a time when we can discuss. We can get back together to discuss this in more detail. We can either talk over the phone or Zoom." Unless you know that the other person is really competent on Zoom, I wouldn't do Zoom for a health assessment, or face-to-face. If you've got the opportunity to do it face-to-face, but most of mine are on the phone. And then here's just some things that don't work. And if you were on the Dream Catchers, you heard this, but and I've made some of these mistakes, I must admit, and I can attest to the fact that they don't work. So if you find yourself doing any of these, just stop it, just write them down and just don't do them anymore. So either talking too much, and that's one reason that a script helps. So having a script and then backing off, making just bullet points so you can stick to it, and practice, just like practice the pause. Just when you need to, just stop talking, even like mentally, or if you can do it with them not seeing it, kind of like zip your lip and just practice not talking. But that's just it, just talking too much, selling and telling or overselling, and trying to explain the program over the phone on the call, on the health assessment, obviously, but being too anxious or trying to convince or talk people into it. On this health assessment thing, I kept telling this lady, I said, I'm not going to talk you into it. It's up to you what you want to do. And every time she said something, she talked herself right back out of it. I might have helped her a little bit. She's like, well, if you tell me I'm never going to be able to eat pizza, I said, well, you can eat pizza if you want. Is that going to get you where you want? And I just let it be uncomfortable until she said, no. So, but be comfortable with the silence. But just say, I'm not going to try to convince somebody. I stopped doing that the one time when I was in high school, or maybe it was I was in college, and I convinced one of my friends to give blood because I worked at the hospital in the medical records department, and it was time to give blood. My mom always given blood. I always gave blood, and I convinced my coworker to give blood, and she passed out. And I'm like, I'm going to stop making people do stuff because it doesn't turn out well. Not a control freak. But stop trying to convince or talk people into it. And here's my big one. What doesn't work is not talking to enough people. So build that list, and keep building that list. And then just keep talking to people. And then here's the other thing that doesn't work is doing the same thing over and over and not getting results. So if you're stuck doing the same thing over and over and not getting results, then talk to your business coach. And if you're stuck with your business coach, then take your business coach and go one step up and go to their mentor or business coach and work on some things. I can guarantee you, everyone wants to help you. So again, I think one of the keys out of this is just for almost any question is saying that's a great question, and I'll be covering that in detail when we get together. I love that. And so now, Jerry, you mentioned you want to get more information. Let's set up a time to talk, and I'll answer that and a lot of other questions you haven't even thought about yet. So let them know it's coming. You're not going to hide it. But again, so this is all stuff just leading up to the health assessment. So there's a lot of people out there that haven't responded to our posts, maybe haven't seen them, or aren't, maybe just don't respond to that yet, or aren't on Facebook, don't comment, don't see our stuff. And we can call. Do any of you think that you can't pick up the phone and just use one of these scripts and call someone and just ask if they or someone they know might be interested in hearing about this program? Okay. I get it. Do you think with enough practice or role play or something like that you would be able to, Mary Kay?
I just don't like cold calling people.
I know, me too. So is it a cold call if it's somebody you know?
Well, no, it's not if it's somebody I know. I'd have to know them pretty well to feel comfortable doing that. And I need to go through my list and see which ones I would be comfortable doing that with.
So it might be like even a prioritize. So take your list and prioritize it of who you feel. And that might be a good exercise of calling people that you'd be more comfortable with doing it and seeing how it's not quite so scary. So Jerry, when you did it for Ready-To's, of course you were calling businesses and you didn't know any of them. Was that more scary, or do you think less scary than calling someone you know?
I don't really know. It was about the same.
Okay, and I don't know. I'm just asking the question because this is like I need to do this because I hate this.
I don't know.
So I'm putting out there for my accountability as well, because this is what I know I need to do this to grow, and it's something I don't want to do. I don't want to do. I've been blessed that the majority of my clients have come from referrals, friends that started, and then people that saw them and came on as referrals. And I've had a few come through Facebook, but I know for me, this is going to be what takes me where I need to go. But it's what I need to do, and that's why I'm teaching it. What about you, Lisa? What are your thoughts?
Terrified.
Yeah.
I only talk on the phone when I have to. I know it's the right thing to do. I mean, for a long time, I was a, texting coach with my client, and they seem to like it too. However, as much as I don't want to talk, not that I don't want to talk to them, but you know what I'm saying, they would probably choose not to want to talk either, but I think it takes away from their success. But I'm terrified about calling people. I don't have everyone's phone number, first of all, so that's a challenge too. But I do have a lot of their phone numbers, the people that are on my list. But no, it does. It terrifies me, and it's something I will have to make myself do. I'm just so afraid of being so nervous that it doesn't come across genuine or just like everyday conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's it, but I have to do it. So
I get it, because I can read these. I can talk to you guys about it. Actually doing it, I'm probably going to have clean toilets tomorrow, because I'm going to find everything else in the world to do.
I'm not feeling pressed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not. I'm not feeling that's like something I want to do. I mean, yeah, maybe there's growth there, and I've got to see it, happen. But I just got to get comfortable talking to people out in the community. I mean, number 2 is where I really need.
Okay, so that may be your next step, is out in the community. But let me ask you this: what are you going to do when you have a new coach who's not getting traction on Facebook and not getting referrals? They really want to do this because they love it and they know people need help and they need to move on to the next step. How are you going to coach them?
I mean, yeah, and that's so true. That's exactly what they need to do. And I guess a lot of it is my concepts. I believe in this so strongly, but I need to share it with others. And if they don't ever hear about it, they're never going to join. I mean, why would they join it? I mean, how can they join if they don't know anything about it?
Yeah.
So, I guess it's that going out there, putting yourself out there, and kind of like an actress and being shot down constantly, being told no. Yeah, you gotta have some thick skin and just pray that you get to the right people.
Yeah.
I guess just do a lot of praying ahead of before the call, and centering, and just not being attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
Who knows? You might find some people who really want it and need it.
Well, I think it's starting out with those that you're most comfortable with. And the more you do it, the more comfortable. And again, I've not done this. So I'm going to be with you guys doing this. Melanie, what are your thoughts on this, girl?
You do your first one. Can I listen in? I just want
No, you can't. Melanie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I need to listen in. I need to see how that goes.
I was trying to write down everything you were saying. I feel like I need you to email it to me of what exactly to say, but because I will get a little flustered. I know I can kind of come up with it.
Wait, let me, you might have missed part of what I said, because the reason I was saying don't write these down is because I'm going to send you guys a lesson that Dan Bell did that I took these screenshots from. So you're gonna get all this.
Okay.
So don't worry.
And I do remember him. I remember him going over that, but still having the wording in front of you is super helpful to even go over it. And then it's just helpful because it helps with, it being fluid. I know you guys haven't been through all this therapy and AA that I've been through in the last couple of years, but if there's one thing I've learned the most, it's that if you don't know that people love you and that they will do anything for you, just call some of these people and ask them for a favor, because they absolutely will take the time to listen to whatever you've got interest, whatever you've got going on. I just feel like I know that even more now than I ever have. And so I feel even more confident to be able to do something like this, because people do stuff for me. And I have a family, like Facebook. We have like 100 people. My mom's one of 12. So we have like a family Facebook group. And I know if I came up with a good paragraph, like Jeremy and I have been talking about this, if I come up with a good paragraph of like, hey, listen, you guys have always loved and supported me through everything. I need your help once again. If you could please send me people in your life that need help with their weight management, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you noticed, but I started a new business this year and I'm working from home and I'm doing this, blah, 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 And so if you could send people my way, that would be great. Kind of like any other job, right? Any other person started as a realtor or anything, right? I mean, people are following me on Facebook. My mom would say, well, Mel, everybody's on Facebook. That's true, but I really need to have focused attention on the fact that I need help with this, right? And to really ask for it.
Yeah. And that's right. And it goes right along with the one sentence, which was my favorite one. And when I did it it's so funny, when I did it on Sunday, and Johnny said, you should have fessed up to that. I did it on Sunday, and I was reading this, and these are all screenshots that I took from Dan Bell's training, but it says, can you do me a favor? Let me read it, because it's awesome. I don't come up with anything on my own, guys, but yeah, it's just so you ask someone, hey, Jerry, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Do you know anyone who's trying to manage their weight or who is looking to learn healthier habits that I could help? And JC's like, that is awesome. Can you repeat that? And I'm like, but I didn't say that. I should have. I was just kind of embarrassed. And then JC later said, yeah, you should have just said, I'm putting up the screenshot. My husband said that too. He said, you should have given credit. But I said, well, I was kind of embarrassed, about that. But yeah, when you say, would you do me a favor? And JC said in front of everybody, I'm like, I don't even know what he wanted me to say. But he said, if I just called you, us as we are, and said, would you do me a favor? What would you say? And I said, I'd say, yeah. And he said, why? And I said, well, because I know you and you're my friend. And he said, have I done anything for you? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So of course you will. So think of all the people in your life that if you called them and said, would you do me a favor? They'd be like, sure, what is it? If it's not illicit or immoral, of course you're going to do it. So you've got those people. So, and with Melanie saying, yeah, guys, I need your help again. But the phone call is just a funny thing. So I think we might need therapy on this. But you may not feel called to do this yet, Mary Kay, but I think there will be people that need this.
I'll be dealt with, and I'll be doing it.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's it. So there is like homework, but I'm going to send this recording to you guys because I know I'm like all over the place, and Dan Bell's was very structured. I just wanted to give it to you more like from me, and then you can get it from Dan. But it's using that list, which is amazing no matter what you do with the list. But this is super helpful. So you're really just practicing that approach. So it's not like, okay, you've got the approach, go start making phone calls. It really is practicing it. And the more you practice it with your business coach or even with a peer, Kathy and I would do, when it was just Kathy, Kathy and I would do a lot of stuff when we were with Lighthouse, just together practicing. So you can practice with a peer, practice with your business coach, but just practice that. And then practice answering a question with a question or bouncing that ball back and forth. That's so important, especially when people are like, well, how much does it cost? What do you got to do? Blah, 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 blah. Just, answer, well, what is it that you're looking for? Those are the things. And he talks about this more in the video. And then make, this is at least 10 calls, but make some calls to invite people to a health assessment and then set up 5 health assessments. So I'm going to send you guys individually this Dan Bell video if you want it. Who would like the Dan Bell video of what I just did? Okay, good. Keep it under wraps. Don't share with anybody else. It's really not supposed to, like, for us that have been given it, it's like at our discretion of who, to share it with. But since you guys came to this, I want you to have it so it can like add some clarity to what I was trying to do here. And then, if you want to do screenshots of any of the approaches or scripts and stuff that he did, but let's be in communication. You guys are all on a thread of the people that were invited to this. Those that showed up for one and then showed up for another. It doesn't have a name to it. It just has all of us in it. But just be back and forth if you want to, like, he said this, it was great. Donna, you really screwed this up, but Dan Bell was really good. Or if like you're ready to practice or if you're ready to do it. But I think we're all, like, Melanie's all ready to go on this. She's got this everybody loves me thing down. And we're all like scared to heck about picking up the phone and making this phone call. But think about before we all were with Optavia, if someone had called us, if someone had called you, Mary Kay, before you saw Stacy and said, hey, Mary Kay, I'm so excited. I've been losing weight on this awesome program. In fact, I've dropped 39 pounds. I'm learning healthy habits and I feel terrific. I'm doing so well that I decided to pay it forward as a coach to help others. Pretty awesome, huh? I'm a new coach. Oh, that's a new coach for the weight loss story. Would you do me a favor? One business coach suggested I ask a good friend to jump on a 3-way call so I can listen to my coach explain the program. I didn't even share this one with you. But what would you have done if someone that you know, so not me, but maybe Stacy? What if Stacy had jumped on a call and said, hey, Mary Kay, I've lost, I think she lost around 20 pounds or so. What if she had said, I've lost 20 pounds and I'm really feeling good. I'm getting into my cute jeans. That was her big deal. Would you get on a call with me?
Well, she lost closer to like 70 pounds.
Was she that far in?
Yes, and that was huge to me. I was like, what are you doing? So,
yeah.
I probably, knowing her and knowing how much she had lost, I probably would have, I definitely would have jumped on.
So you jumped on and she 3-way texted me. So if she had become a coach and she called you and said, before you approached her, she called and said, hey, Mary Kay, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I've lost some weight. I'd love to, and I've become a coach. I'd love to talk with you about that. Wouldn't you have appreciated that phone call?
Yes, I would have, but I'm kind of like, okay, so are they going to think that I think they're fat?
And that's why we say, well, that's if you've ever talked about that, about weight together before. And if not, that's why you say, if you or someone you know. And we don't say, we say weight loss or learning healthy habits and getting control of your weight.
Yeah, I had to put that in the chat there too, Donna, that was real key for me to be able to make this call a little bit easier, is to say, are you open to seeing if this would be a good fit for you or someone that you know, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's why that's suggested in the Facebook 101 is that if someone says, tell me more, even if they, if they just say, tell me more, it's what we always say, are you asking for yourself or for someone you love?
Right.
Okay, and okay, Mary Kay, gotta go to the bathroom, she'll be right back. But, and that's why we say that, because we never want someone to think that we think they're, even if they're asking about the program. There you are. So, huh?
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, we're going to go ahead and close up now because I got to get on another one. But I hope this was helpful. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's just because I wanted to give you some tidbits before I sent on the other video. So I'll send that out to you guys tomorrow. So
yes, and I just want to clarify that I'm terrified. I'm just doing this because I know it's good for me.
Okay. Good. Well, so you're in unison with us. Terrified. We're all unified together. So, okay, guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Donna.
Love y'all.
Go watch the Astros.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yes.
Bye, thank you.
Okay, love y'all.